Happy Hump Day, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets. Powered by BetSperts, we are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, back from his little trip to BetSperts Golf yesterday, Mr. Andy Mahler. And I guess, Andy, the Sixers season is over. The drive to 0-82 has begun.
Yeah, do we tank for Webinar at this point? I don't know. The Celtics, whatever. The Celtics are still very good. Maybe the losing their head coach is more of a attrition problem where it affects them later in the season and probably definitely come playoff time, but it's still one of the best rosters in the East, and it was also Bill Russell night. What are you going to do? I guess we'll have to settle for 82, 81-1. I don't know. Embiid looked good. I think the team's fine. I think he looked as good as it's fine. Like if that's your median,
Yeah.
if that's your median game from him for the year, I'll take it. So they're gonna be fine. Calm down. Phillies won. Eagles are on bye, resting they will remain undefeated this week. So everyone chill out. Go down to Geno's and then punch yourself in the face because that's not actually the cheesesteak place you're supposed to go to. Where would you head, Alex?
I'm a Steve's Prince of Steaks guy, preferably up in the Northeast. But John's Roast Pork, the name a little tricky there, probably has the best cheesesteak in South Philly at this point.
I kind of want to get an Italian beef, but they don't have that.
Is
Like
that
I
what
have
they
to go.
call it in Minnesota?
Well,
I've
no,
never,
like that. It's a
or
different
steak and
thing, but
cheese,
it's a different thing,
or
but it's
God
more of a
forbid they call it a
Chicago
Philly.
thing. Yeah, I got to go to Chicago for that. Either I don't know what I'm eating today. Actually, I do. I brought some soup. I was telling Dan this too. I went to breakfast at the bar I like to go to. I come out of the bar after breakfast, and there's a beer truck parked behind my truck, off, not running, nobody in sight. I waited around for like 2 minutes and realized like I have to go to work. So I just walked to work. And again, I told Dan, I told him this story too. It's just the more I repeat it, the more I'm going to
You
remember
got
it.
double parked by a beer
Well,
truck.
there's some fences up because of construction. There wasn't much room over there. But when I walk out of work today, I'm for sure going to just freak out like someone stole my truck because it's not out here. So like the more I repeat this, the easier it's going to be for me to remember I have to walk back to the bar, which maybe
Not a bad
yeah,
problem to have.
maybe I go back to the bar for lunch and just say hi to the same waitresses again. Those gals work like 12 hours. They're always there. Either way, um, maybe I'll have Mexican for lunch because there's a taco place kind of in the same building. The most annoying thing is they are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Taco places should never be closed on Tuesdays. If you wanted some authentic, food though, head down to Guadalajara, where you have a grip of plays for today. All totals too.
Yeah, win total Wednesday is over. No more of that. So tennis total Wednesday, it doesn't really roll off the tongue as nice. We will call it tequila tennis total Tuesday because we're in Guadalajara. And yeah, still all the lines look right here from a money line perspective. It was hard to find anybody I really like to back. Disappointed in Beatriz Haddad Maya. She just kind of got run over by Siniakova, honestly. But let's just into some totals, some unders, a first set over here, and even a 2.5 setter. We'll start with Sabalenka Samsonova. Give me the first set over 9.5 and 10.5. Chose to forego the 12.5 again. Sprinkle that if you want to. Just didn't really like the number again. 7.5 is a little more prevalent to me than the 7-6 here, especially with the way these two women play and how good, honestly, Sabalenka can be on return and how much she honestly can spray. So I think we'll see definitely a long set here. 6-4, no problem, and 7-5 seems actually kind of likely to me. So going to play the 9.5. That's right about standard juice, and then the 10.5 was able to find a plus 250. Anything close to that should be just fine. Couple of unders. Paula Badosa going to play Victoria Azarenka. Matches have been fairly quick here. I think that there's something to be said about how tough it can be to play in altitude and how fun it might be to be out in Mexico hanging out doing some fun stuff. It is a beautiful place to be. And we've seen a lot of shots on Instagram and the social medias, from what I understand, of these women having some good time. And they should. It's honestly a good way to handicap tennis, Andy. Just go on social media and see what everybody's doing. But Azarenka generally plays very quick matches here. 21.5 looks great. Had this just shy of 21 myself. And then Mertens Kalinskaya, same thing. When Mertens is cooking like she has been the last couple of weeks, she generally puts away players like this and does it very quickly. That said, if Kalinskaya is going to play a strong match, we might have a long first set here. I think we might sweat this one a little bit in the second, Andy, but even if we get a 7-5 there, 6-2, 6-3, we're in good shape with the 21.5, especially with the hook. And then what should be a very fun match, Elena Ostapenko is going to be playing against Jeannie Bouchard. Bouchard finally back in tennis the last couple of weeks, has been playing good, building back into form. We know she's very talented here, and just expect this to be a very competitive match. And I got my price. I always say that a lot of these have been adjusted to 140, 145. I was even able to find a 165 on this. So great shot. I think that we see a long match here. And if it goes 2 sets, it'll go well under the total. It's one of those situations, Andy, where I always wonder if there's any value in taking the under and then over 2.5 sets for the Polish middle. But the numbers never quite work out that way. So just give me the over 2.5 sets. So first set over, 2 unders, and an over 2.5 sets.
It's a lot. It's a lot for today, but I'm done. There's a lot to bet on today, you guys. We're not even going to do hockey because we don't really do hockey, and I'm kind of pissed. There's no real Champions League. There's one Euro or Europa, but it's like a weird. I don't know if it's a makeup game. Maybe Dan can help me out with this. There's like one sort of Europa match.
Nonsense, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think they even have that. It's all goal differential. So, yeah, somebody could tell me. I don't bet Premier League. I don't bet league play. I only bet tournaments. Soccer. FA Cup, Champions League, Europa, the Pokal, the League Cup in Turkey. The Pokal's the German one, obviously. Yeah. So I only bet tournaments. The women's Euros, only tournaments. World Cup coming right up. We'll have some fun stuff soon. And you spoke a little soon on Win Total Wednesday's over. I was dangerously close to betting an NFL one today. They have these up every week now, and I'm sitting on Vikings over 9 at a good number, and it's now sitting at 11.5. And I thought about a middle, and then I looked at the Vikings schedule. I'm like, God damn it. This is like a 12-win team with this fucking schedule. So the Vikings, I couldn't do it. It's not today, Dan. It's like tomorrow or Thursday, or tomorrow or Friday. There's a weird one single Europa game between Arsenal and someone. Regardless, I don't have any NFL, not till tomorrow. We'll have some looks into tomorrow's game once we get a little more clarity on everybody's health. A lot of injuries tomorrow, but the CJ Cup does start early tomorrow morning in beautiful South Carolina. Raise up. And I took a full tournament matchup where I laid, the stroke and a half with Tommy Fleetwood. Not a guy I like to back a lot, but I am keen again on some of these guys who've played a few of these tournaments over on the DP World Tour. That's not Dr. Pepper guys, but those tournaments have been a little tougher than guys playing Sanderson and even, Zozo. Stallings did play over in the Zozo, finished a little below average, so he flew over from Japan. Some people are viewing that as a negative, some people aren't. It's not like these guys are flying Spirit Airlines. I think he's going to be just fine with that much travel time. But Fleetwood, decent results over on the DP. Hasn't missed a cut over there. It's not like he's won any events, but kind of right around that 20th mark. And he's a really, really strong irons player, especially if you go look at his European stats. He's a top 5 greens and regulation guy. His driving distance is at least average with some high accuracy. Putting can suffer a little, but I don't think that's going to come into play huge here unless he's really, really struggling with the lag putting, because we have some very, very long putts. So I will play Tommy Fleetwood minus 1.5 over one Scott Stallings, he's struggling in a few spots. One of those spots is 3-putt avoidance. So these greens are really big. They're tiered, undulated. They have these false fronts where they're open in the front. You can roll balls up onto them from the fairway. Some people might be putting from the fairway if they're not that far out, but you do need to hit your long lag putts to make sure you can get in 2 on these massive greens. And if he's not doing that, he's not going to play very well. It's a no-cut event, which, again, it's a little tougher for matchups because you have 4 days to fend off your opponent. But his 3-putt avoidance is near the bottom of the field. he has been decent making some of his longer putts, but when he misses them, it seems to go egg shaped. And his proximity on some of his longer iron stuff isn't great, especially compared to what Fleetwood's been able to do. So, like this one quite a bit. Pissed I didn't bet it the other day. It was plus money the other day, minus 105 at Bet Online. And then Dan says Arsenal and PSV Eindhoven are playing tomorrow because of the original fixture, because the Queen died. Thanks, Lizzie.
I love that golf handicap, though. That is exactly what you don't want to see, is that type of putter. You describe him, he's made a couple long putts, so we know he's probably more aggressive, because you don't make long putts unless you're hitting them a little too hard. And then exactly what you described, big greens. He's got a lot of long putts to hit. They're undulating. I wonder how many times he's going to hit a ball just short of a peak, just past a peak. And that is, it
I know.
just feeds,
I'm
it
having
festers in your
nightmares.
brain.
I'm having nightmares just thinking about me having to do that. I'm horrible at judging. Like, I can judge a 15-footer. I can judge a 20-footer and keep it. I'm not making a 20-footer in my mind when I'm lining up for anything over like 10. Honestly, I'm just hoping it gets close. But like once you get to a long putt, I'm so bad at judging the speed and distance, where it's like, man, I'm just praying at this point. I would have 4 putts on these greens, and they're not even that big. They're sizable, but the size plus the undulations, some definite tiers to it, like you said, the peaks, that makes it tricky. And then yeah, NBA guys. Short slate yesterday, big slate today. They had a couple of fun ones. We did the rings for one team. We did the Boston Bill Russell ceremony, a lot of pomp and some circumstance yesterday. But the circumstances today dictate everybody else has to play a game, right? Is it 13?
Everybody.
Not everybody?
No, everybody's in today. I think we have
Okay,
13 games
everybody who didn't
today.
play.
Everybody will have played it today. I'm too lazy to count.
Either way, there's like 12 or 13 games, so I'm sure you have some plays.
Just a few, a handful of totals again. Just sticking with total Wednesday here. A couple unders, even an over, although one of these numbers I think is pretty much gone. We'll start with the Mavericks Suns. That game will be a little bit later. Total sitting at 216.5. Actually, this one's gone the other way. I'm looking at a 218 right now. I'll probably go in and bet a little bit more on the under, honestly. I struggle to see how the pace of this game is going to get to be where it needs for this total to get so high. Mavericks unders were some of the best bets you could have made last year. They take away Jalen Brunson, who was a point guard that drove a lot of of the offense for them. Maybe it slowed the pace down just a touch, but I just don't see how Dallas is going to push the pace enough in this game. Nor Phoenix. Had this closer to 212, started to tweak some stuff, got it up to like 213, 214 with some shooting adjustments and things like that. Maybe with Cameron Johnson in the starting lineup, the Suns will be a little bit quicker. Maybe with Tim Hardaway Jr., we'll see a little worse defense from Dallas, a little more shooting. But 216.5, I took the under earlier. It's 218 now. Again, I'll probably go take some more. I think we're just going to see a slow, plotting, tight game. It'll kind of have a fun feel to it, but not with a lot of points. Give me the under there. And then similar, Cavaliers, Raptors. The Cavs go up to Toronto. Both of these teams pretty good under teams last year. And again, not betting everything on that, just kind of a note and a little bias, honestly, that I'm looking for after I've already made the bet. But look at the matchup here. Two very good defensive teams that match up well with each other. Everything Toronto wants to do on offense, Cleveland has an answer for. At the same time, Cleveland, despite having Garland and Mitchell, kind of those two big guards that I think people are really excited to see, are going to go against a Toronto team that have the length, that have the defenders to kind of slow those guys down. And I think it's also going to take some time for this Cleveland team to get comfortable with each other. So 214 looked a little too high to me. Happy to take the under there. That number sitting basically right where it is. Again, anything 214 or higher looks good to me. I'll take the under there. Nuggets minus 7.5. Have this closer to 10, honestly. I'm surprised. It's actually moving the other way. Somebody is betting the Jazz this morning and the over. And with the total going up, I like the Nuggets even more. I mean, this Utah team is not going to look anything like we've seen in the last 3 years. It is Mike Conley and an entirely new group of guys. This Nuggets team is getting an influx of talent. Jamal Murray's played well in the preseason. Michael Porter Jr.'s back looks to be okay for the time being. This Nuggets team to just thrash the Utah Jazz, a division rival that they didn't beat once last year. And that kind of stuff does matter to some of these teams. And again, not the reason I'm making the bet, but a nice little cherry on top. I have this again closer to 9.5, 10. I think the Nuggets absolutely just roll the Jazz tonight. And then Trailblazers Kings. This number looks like it's gone, unfortunately. Yeah, really like the over in this spot. It was 226, 227 earlier. We're up to 229. Still lower than where I have it, but I have it right at like 231. So not necessarily as big of an edge. If this does jump back down to 227 and a half, 227, take some over there. Just think we see a really fast-paced game. Kings overs are going to be a thing. There is just one player on that entire roster, Rashawn Holmes, who has any interest in playing defense. There's a lot of offensive talent there. They should push the pace. The Blazers will be happy to run, assuming Dame Lillard's going to be back to his kind of regular self, which we've seen. Anthony Simon should have a lot of points tonight. So give me the overs here tonight. I'm seeing 229 again. Still like lean to the over there, but hoping for, again, 227 and a half or so to pop up for you guys. Should just be a lot of points tonight.
Seeing some stuff in the chat. First of all, AD is just making fun of our getting the date wrong. Whatever. Haven't seen Mr. Robot? Or what's the one with McConaughey? True Detective? Time's a flat circle, yeah. Guys. But yeah, it is busy. It is a busy time of year. There's a lot of sports, which reminds me, if you follow the calendars, the astronomy, astrology, the Farmer's Almanac, and all that jazz, we're probably coming up on an equinox, aren't we? If there is because now that the NBA started, we can do it officially. There's got to be NBA on Sunday, right?
Is there baseball on Thursday? If there's baseball Thursday,
it could be right. It could be tomorrow. It could be tomorrow. So tomorrow the Yankees will play Game 2 versus the Houston Astros in Houston. Obviously, there's a decent slate of NHL games. The NBA will have
Thursday
Bucks Philly. Basketball. Yep. So and Clippers Lakers. So we have the equinox is tomorrow. My God, this sneaks. It's just like it just sneaks up on it.
We almost had a Philly sports equinox.
Yeah, I know they have a bye. That's dumb. But if the Phillies make it deep enough, we still might. If they win the NLCS, we'll get there. But expect parlays tomorrow. Sports equinox parlays. Done. 4-teamers, guys, and maybe a 6-teamer that also includes soccer.
Probably some tennis, maybe some soccer. Is there a big horse race tomorrow?
It's Breeders' Cup weekend too. Like this shit is.
Team horse on Friday.
I think Breeders' Cup is in like a week. That's coming right up. It might not be this weekend, but Breeders' Cup definitely is right around the corner down at Keeneland. It's November 4th and 5th, so that's in 2 weeks. So
human horse team, let's do it.
We will get around to that. It's a really good track too. Keeneland's very nice. So looking forward to that. Man team horse parlay in 2 weeks, guys. Put that on your calendars. And then I have a baseball bet. This is right up there with my soccer bets. I don't have stats. I do. It's better than Ajax. I can name some fucking Astros.
Oh, okay.
Carlos Correa, Maldonado, all those guys. So JV's starting tonight. JV, maybe you get a little bit of value because Verlander looked like absolute garbage in his last start. I mean, he got roughed the bleep up. He's going to be just fine. He's a savvy vet. That guy's pitched like 100 postseason games at this point. He's going to be just fine, guys. And the Astros have been sitting there just getting ready, resting, getting the ice on, taking their amphetamines, whatever baseball players do to get jacked up for the game now, popping greenies. Whereas the Yankees, well, I mean, they were probably out celebrating, right? Like they had to play a game last night. They had to play and just because the baseball has gotten pushed back so far, what time did that game start? Like 3 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon yesterday. So they had a clinching game 5 yesterday in New York. Now they have to play 6:30, 7 p.m. the next day in Houston after their champagne and beer celebration. So this should be a good game, but I'm just going to lay it with the Stros. I think the Stros blow them up in at least one of these. Like the Astros bats are just as good as the Yankees right now. And I looked at, this Jameson Italian guy, not super keen on either pitcher. Honestly, you know what? My secondary bet here? See, over. This total's only 7. I had the, thanks to Balash, I had the under in the Yankees game yesterday, under 7. That looked real fucking good after a 3-run bomb in the first inning. Got home anyway, so
Boom value live.
I'm just investing my baseball money. Yeah, I know I should have boom valued it at like under 9. I think our friend Dogma did at like 8.5, but I know some people Fugly took the Yankees team total under like 6.5 at one point. Like all the live bets got home. So Astros by 1 million. I hate both of these teams so much. The true bet is cheering for the Comet, but I will be laying it with the Astros plus 110 on the run line tonight in Minute Maid
Let's
Park.
go Stros.
Cheer for the Astros, burning with desire. Cheer for the Astros. I don't know the rest of that song. Cal always puts it on videos. Anyway, hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. If you have some bets, put them in the chat. Put them in the comments. Hit us up on Twitter. Holt says he likes the Kings minus 2.5. Dan says, I fixed it. FFS. Patrick says, Glenn Davis. And then Patrick also says, Astros Yankees will be feisty. Big baby Glenn Davis. Oh, yeah, the baby thing from the baseball game yesterday. Go Phillies, go Astros. Let's go. See you guys.